This week on Sportsman TV, we're lost in a Bermuda Triangle. No, actually, we're on beautiful Lake Pontchartrain. The water temperature's right, we're hunting big trout. I know it looks like a horror movie, but we are actually looking for something with fangs. So stick with us this week and see how many big trout we can catch. I left the house, around 4:15, I think, just socked in with the fog, bad. I mean, we put in here, it's like being at the Bermuda Triangle or something. I mean, it's like we should have been filming on Loch Ness. It's the way it looked, We run out in the lake this morning, you can't see anything. You can't see either shoreline. I mean, occasionally you'll see a crab trap pop up right in front of you, but it's, it kind of makes with the whole experience.
A good GPS will get you a long ways. That's how I'm running right now, as a matter of fact, just taking my time, not going real fast, being aware of my surroundings.
It's pretty cool. I'm just one of those weird people who like bad weather. I mean, I like this kind of stuff. I mean, this is what makes a good fishing trip, a good hunting trip. Normally, anytime you have, some type of weather system or something going on with the weather, those are the best days, to be hunting or fishing. The cool thing about being on this trip or getting the opportunity to go on it was to target giant trout. There are certain places in the country that are really known for it, and Lake Pontchartrain is the premier big trout body of water on the planet.
Big trout. I've been catching a lot of trout, and I've been catching limits of trout, but I want to target big trout, 3+ pound fish. That's a good one. That's a good one there, boss.
Got to start somewhere. Be a hard head.
Oh, no, don't say that. Oh.
Just kidding.
Marta, the cost would not let me live that down.
Yeah, nice trout.
Decent size. Good way to start the morning right there. Finally, broke the ice.
There he is. If I can get him in. That's got to be him, old saber-tooth. Get the gaff. It's a big one. Look at that. How about that? How about that? Oh, you gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. I was afraid of that. I see a piece of his mouth tore open. I was afraid of that. Dang it. Oh. Should have reached down there easy with it.
This is Ryan Terrio. I'm here at Bowie Outfitters, and listen, I'm an avid bow hunter. If you're looking for a place with the best service in the South and wonderful accessories, not to mention a top-of-the-line bow range, Bowie Outfitters is a place for you. A wonderful staff here and great service at Bowie, but an awesome selection of guns. We have pistols, rifles, and shotguns, and everything else you could imagine. And for all those hard-to-find bass fishing and inshore products, Bowie Outfitters is a place for you. That's Bowie Outfitters for everything outdoors, in between Essen and Bluebonnet on Perkins Road.
Do you want the better selection and bigger savings? Service Chevrolet Cadillac has the largest inventory of Chevys in Louisiana. You can choose from over 300 Silverados, all in one location. The Chevy Silverado has the best pickup coverage in America and the lowest cost of ownership of any full-size pickup on the road. Shop the better selection and get bigger savings at Service Chevrolet Cadillac, 1212 Ambassador Caffrey, or visit us at servicegm.com.
Fishing. It's where good stories come from. It's about good times and family and friends. It's about taking a couple home for dinner tonight and saving a few for tomorrow. It's all about that and so much more. To CCA, fishing is about enjoying today and making sure tomorrow is even better. To us, fishing comes with a responsibility for the resources we enjoy so much. If fishing means all that to you, then you belong with CCA.
Don't just be a sportsman, look like one too. Men, women, kids, everyone wants to look like a good sport. And now you can find it all in one place without leaving the house. Our popular Sportsman logo clothing and accessories are just a click away at LouisianaSportsman.com. T-shirts, caps, polarized sunglasses, jewelry, koozies, and more are available in a variety of sizes and colors. It's easy to show the world that you are a sportsman. Visit shop.louisianasportsman.com today and get that perfect sportsman item for yourself or as a gift for that sportsman in your life.
We started out this morning fishing around the pilings on the bottom. Just a basic plastic, some type of shad imitation. You know, those trout seem to be, you know, there's some trout in the lake feeding on shrimp. Those around the causeway seem to be feeding on shad or menhaden pogies, whatever you want to call them. You know, so we were using shad imitation baits, jig head, 3/8 to a ½ ounce.
A lot of times I'll throw it past the piling. If I'm gonna fish the south side of the piling, I'm gonna throw it past it and work it back.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times that sucker, it'll be, you can feel my jig head rubbing on the piling, and then suckers will pick it up.
It's a lot like bass fishing. It's a lot like a lot of the fishing that I do. You know, you're casting it out, letting the bait make contact with the bottom, and you're hopping it up, and you're feeling for any pressure. You know, when those fish are active, you get a solid, you see the line jump. On other times, you'd go to pick up to hop again, and the fish, you know, is eased up there and sucked the bait up, and he's on there, and you just, you know, you come on back and set the hook, and you got him. Trout, drum, flounder, meat, it's all here today.
Well, you got to kind of pattern them out. I mean, one day they might be on this span,
right?
And one day they might be on this span. Every day's different. That's what makes it so difficult fishing out here right now. You know,
They just moving around.
Moving around. They're where the bait are. So the tide's very noticeable this morning. So it's running pretty good. So I'm gonna fish with the tide coming to me. That's where I've always fished. Out here in the lake. You know, the train trusses, causeway, fish with the tide coming to you. We don't pick none up, 10, 15 pounds, move. Just stick and move till you find it. Normally when that water temperature starts warming up like it has been, the fish tend to suspend. Now, if you get the cooler days, lake cold fronts, well, then they'll hug back to the bottom. So, you know, you go with a heavier jig head, like a ½ ounce jig head, because you want to stay closer to the bottom. You got to pay attention to your water temperature in your depth finder. The temperature's way up from, say, 2-3 days ago, then go with a lighter jig head, unless the wind is blowing 15-20 miles an hour. Then you go back to a ½ ounce jig head. I like to fish with a 40-pound braid with a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. Now I like to keep my leader about 2 foot, which is plenty enough for, you know, visibility. So you know, you're fishing 5-foot visibility of the water. I mean, you go with straight braid, fish are gonna see that.
You know, the second technique that we utilized today was trolling, which is really, it's simple in a way because you don't do a lot with your lure, but it's all about boat control. And you know, Scott had that speed down. He was like 1.5 to 1.8 was the deal, you know, for getting those bites. A little bit too fast, a little bit too slow, you don't get any bites. So it was technique more with the boat, how the boat was positioned and the speed of the boat rather than how you were moving the bait with the rod.
We've had a few hits. They've been up high, so the fish is more suspended right now. So we're gonna wait for this tide to change, and we're gonna get out in the middle in between the spans and do a little trolling. They may not be on the spans. They may be in between or out from it. So we're gonna give that a shot and see what we come up with.
We trolled a 3/4 ounce red eye shad. I caught some today doing that, and it seemed to be that the plastic overall was better. The same jig and shad imitation that we used around the pilings, we trolled that.
I threw it at that first set. The pilings got 2 side by side, and I just count them 1, 2, 3, and as soon as I get to the third one, it bait's on the bottom right now, but as soon as I stick it in there, the bait will start rising back up to a certain depth, about 4 feet off the bottom, 4 or 5 feet. Especially this time of year. I mean, they start getting so more suspended because of the water temp starts warming up.
I think the deal was with that, one thing that made the trolling good, a lot of those fish weren't tight. You know, the way the conditions were, they backed off. Maybe it was because it stayed low light so late in the day, or, you know, really warm days, but something that, you know, the fish were pulling off the piling. They weren't holding tight. And so that was making the trolling a lot better because they weren't positioned on the piling. So we were out away from them. He said there were shell pads and other stuff under the water, you know, that those fish were getting on, and you're able to cover a lot of water. It seemed like the fish were scattered, you know, so we had to cover big, large areas to get bit. And the trolling, you know, we're fishing 4 rods at one time, and, you know, you'd hit little pad, you know, little patches of them where you we get 2 or 3 bites, and then you go a ways and you get 3 or 4 bites again. And again, they're those same hammer trout that we caught, you know, jigging around the piling.
Why Bowie Outfitters? Our customers know why.
When you need something, you come in, you ask for it, and you can get it. Great selection of clothes here, guns, shells, calls, whatever you need. I like coming in and doing that. And more importantly for me, I'm a big bow hunter. I think these guys are better than anybody. That's why I come over to Bowie Outfitters.
That's Bowie Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Bowie Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
You want to see the bullet for a $500,000 gun? Chartreuse Blackback KVD 1.5. The bait that Kevin Van Dam used to win his 4th Bassmaster Classic. Load it. Shoot it. Set the hook.
Money in the bank, baby.
Quality, performance, value. Polaris has it all. Whether you want a hard-working Ranger, smooth-riding Sportsman, or razor-sharp Razor, we've got a full line of industry-leading machines, all priced hundreds less than you'd expect. Right away on a Polaris Sportsman 400 for as little as $56.99 during the Polaris XP sales event. See all the great deals at Polaris.com.
Louisiana Sportsman Magazine. For over 31 years, your source for fishing and hunting information. Each month you will find stories by local experts on everything from bass to redfish to ducks, deer to trout and turkey. We've got incredible local information that you can use immediately to get more success outdoors. You'll also enjoy monthly columns on cooking, the latest lures, GPS locations, shooting, kayaks, and much more. Have Louisiana Sportsman delivered to your house and safe. $24.99 gets you a full year of Louisiana Sportsman. To order today, visit louisianasportsman.com.
You know, the first thing for somebody fishing Lake Pontchartrain, now the conditions were really good other than the fog for getting on the lake. The lake was dead calm. We saw all kind of boats, from 14-foot john boats to 25-foot center consoles. But I would really recommend somebody wanting to go out there and do that they, you know, get somebody like Scott, a good guide, to go out there the first time. Somebody that's been out there a lot, really experienced, that knows what the weather's going to do. Has the equipment, the big boat, set up ready to go out. So in case the weather goes bad, you know, you got somebody that knows how to handle it, that can get you back in. And the other thing that can put you on the fish, you know, somebody that's out there day in and day out, you know, keeping up with those fish every day.
Watch your wind. Pay attention to weather. You know, look about 3 days ahead, and judge it from that. If you've been having a lot of east wind, yeah, take a chance to come. You know, your chances on an east wind are much greater. But if you've had a north wind or northwest wind or west wind within them 3 days, I wouldn't even worry about coming over here. Stay in the interior marshes. An east wind will clear this water up in a matter of 24 to 48 hours after a front. If you see weather coming up, get out of here. The lake will kick up real quick. I've seen it kick up in a matter of 5 minutes. Never take a chance. See bad weather coming, get out as soon as possible. You got dockside bait and tackle. They got everything, live bait, plastics, the whole 9 yards. Spring and fall is my best times I would fish. Your trout, they'll come in from the deep water in the spring, and they'll come out the deep water from the summer pattern, and it'll move back in for the fall. It makes it a lot easier to catch fish. You actually have birds diving in the spring and the fall as well. So, I mean, you can be running across the lake and all of a sudden see a big old school of birds diving. Stop. There's fish there. There's trout there. The bridge is 24 miles long, and you got what's that? You got 4 humps. No, you got 6 humps. You got a 4-mile hump, 8-mile hump on the north shore, then you got your 12-mile hump. That's mid-lake, and then you go back 8-mile hump and 4-mile hump south shore. So if somebody says they caught them 8 miles out, okay, they caught them at the 8-mile hump. But whether it's north side or south side, will make a big difference. Most of these fish on the bridges, they're eating pogies. He's got one over there as well. Pick it up.
Serious about it. They got a dip net. They'll make sure none of them eaters get off. Let me tell you, when a man picks up a dip net, he got one thing on his mind. Get him in the box.
Hungry. Yeah. That's basically what they eating is pogies. There's pogies and little glass minnows all over the lake right now. There he is. There he is. All right, we got one. Yeah, sometimes you'll flip a trout in the boat. He'll spit up a 4-inch pogie. Unbelievable. Not that big of a trout, but guess what? He'll eat good.
That's just right.
He'll eat real good. The elusive speckled trout.
Get you some. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I consider myself a fish connoisseur. I pretty much try to eat every fish on the planet. And when it comes to fresh, fried, southern-style cooked fish, nothing beats a fresh speckled trout. That's what really, you notice it really seems like it bothers me when one comes off. That's what it's about. It's all about this. You know what? I gotta stay healthy, stay full, man, where I can do this, where I can come out here and work. It's hard out here making a living.
Oh, got one.
Right next to the pilot. I caught those first couple on a caffeine shad, which is, it has a shad-type body but a straight tail. And I just switched over to a swimming caffeine shad, which has the same exact body, but it's got more of the swim bait tail. More like the bait that Scott's been using. He's been using a small swim bait this morning. I switched over because I think when we're trolling, you get more action. But when I was hopping it, I really like that 4-inch caffeine shad because it falls pretty fast. It's got that more of a worm type tail on it, but the body still has the profile of a bait fish. Oh yeah, it's a nice one. Nice one. Get a jump out of it. Jump right in here. Man, but again, I just can't, say enough about the quality of these fish. And this one is actually a little on the small side, compared to what we've been catching. But a swimming caffeine shad, it just looks like a, some type of shad or a menhaden pogie. And I went to some flake, now that the sun's come out, get a little more flash out of it, and that's just a 3/8 ounce jig head. But it has that swimming paddle tail on it.
Why Bowie Outfitters? Our customers know why.
Bowie Outfitters is a friendly place. Bowie Outfitters is a very personable place. When you walk in the front doors, everybody's telling you hello, and it makes it very easy to come in here and shop and be a customer and go to the archery range and go to the gun counter just because you're going to get personalized service.
That's Bowie Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Bowie Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
Hey everybody, it's time to dig into Lafourche Parish, Louisiana. Lafourche is the place to go to enjoy some of the best fishing in the world, to get authentic Cajun food made by people who know what real Cajun is all about, or to spend time with family and friends at our fairs and festivals, or take a drive down the longest street in the world, Louisiana Highway 1, to experience everything from plantation homes, swamp tours, Cajun French-speaking communities, and attractions. Go to diginlafourche.com. Dig in.
Do you want the better selection and bigger savings? Service Chevrolet Cadillac has the largest inventory of Chevys in Louisiana. You can choose from over 300 Silverados, all in one location. The Chevy Silverado has the best pickup coverage in America and the lowest cost of ownership of any full-size pickup on the road. Shop the better selection and get bigger savings at Service Chevrolet Cadillac, 1212 Ambassador Caffrey, or visit us at servicegm.com.
LouisianaSportsman.com is the South's premier hunting and fishing website. Planning a hunting or fishing trip? Visit LouisianaSportsman.com and get up-to-the-date information on weather, tides, or solar data. Our breaking news and continually updating forum will keep you up to date. Or visit our report section and ask the locals what's been biting and where. Need to sell or buy an outdoor item? LouisianaSportsman.com's free classifieds are the quickest way for you to reach the outdoor market. LouisianaSportsman.com, the quick way to get the most of the outdoors.
You know, if you find yourself around bigger than average size trout, and I'm not talking about these hammer handles that we're out there trying to catch to eat. I'm talking about 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 pound trout. One thing I like to do is beef my tackle up a little bit. And by doing that, basically I'm using the same style of lures. This is a 5-inch full-size Zulu. Rather than a small body, I like a bigger body because these bigger trout eat big baits. I find that the bigger trout are not shrimp eaters anymore. They're more shad oriented or eating pogies or menhaden. So you need to beef up the size. Also, I like to go to a little bigger hook. That's a Strike King flats jig head. It's got an oversized hook in it because these trout got bigger mouths. If they're more active and I'm swimming a bait or even trolling a bait, I like to go to a full-size caffeine shad because it has a real unique shad swimming action. Last but not least, a 3/4 ounce red-eye shad. This bait's got a lot of rattle in it, attract those fish from a distance. It resembles a big menhaden or a big pogie. One of the cool things about it, and I think most trout fishermen out there find it, trout like a broken action. And what I mean by that is a bait that raises and lifts, or it's not a steady retrieve. And one cool thing about this bait is I like to pull it and hop it a lot. When I do that and I let it down, it has a real unique dying shad action, which really seems to trigger those trout. More times than not, they'll get it on the end of the drop. All this stuff is available at Bowie Outfitters.
Right straight ahead, left of that buoy. That's where I've seen them come back up. They're moving, look like they're moving towards land. See that bird?
So on the way back, he said, we'll look for birds, maybe be some trout under them, maybe some redfish, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm addicted to those redfish. They're pretty, they're big, they're like a big bass on steroids.
It's a trout. No, it's a red. That's a red. That's a red. He ain't that big, but it's a red.
As long as he's 16.
Oh, he's over 16. Look at him. Look.
Yeah. Got him. Double. Now that's fun.
Look at that.
Oh, I figured you was going to boat flip him.
Nah, he's too big.
Now I'm just going to tell you, the trout were fun, but this might be a hair better. The trout eat better. I keep trying to tell myself that, but man, them redfish are fun to catch. I don't do a lot of cooler water red fishing because a lot of times that's when I'm traveling the country, this time of the year fishing bass tournaments, but man, they're stronger in the cold water than they are in the hot water. They just strip and drag, and it's just, one-on-one on light tackle. Got it. There he is. There he goes. you know, you run through the lakes, you see ducks and gulls, a lot of bird life. You got all this industry town around the lake and giant trout swimming everywhere, big redfish. In the summertime, you know, the lake's full of bull sharks, big jacks.
Bait comes in inside with cooler temperatures, white shrimp, and the fish follow right behind them, and it just makes the fisheries so great. I mean, you run into schools of trout under birds, schools of redfish under birds. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's so close to home to everybody, really, on the west side or the east side of New Orleans. I mean, it's close.
You know, the cool thing about my job is what I'm going to stick with after this trip. I get to hang out with some cool people and their knowledge base. You know, and it's so amazing what you learn from people that spend day in and day out on the water. These are people who make their living on the water, you know, following nature around. We call giants today. But for Lake Pontchartrain, you know, they're average. They're all 3 and 4 pounders, you know, they just call them average. That's the cool thing about this part of the country. You never know what's going to come on the next cast.
The elusive speckled trout. Get you some.
As fishermen, we're predators, and fish are the prey. In nature, the best fishermen have one thing in common: their eyes. How do you turn your eyes into the eye of a predator? It takes 11 layers of lens technology and a new lens color to make the human eye emulate the eye of a predator. Stop buying glasses for the classes. Make yourself an alpha predator.
Don't just be a sportsman, look like one too. Men, women, kids, everyone wants to look like a good sport. And now you can find it all in one place without leaving the house. Our popular Sportsman logo clothing and accessories are just a click away at LouisianaSportsman.com. T-shirts, caps, polarized sunglasses, jewelry, koozies, and more are available in a variety of sizes and colors. It's easy to show the world that you are a sportsman. Visit shop.louisianasportsman.com today and get that perfect sportsman item for yourself or as a gift for that sportsman in your life.